So let's go back to the start. Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm going to talk about from zero to hero, bursting through barriers with many years of anguish. This is actually a picture from a cruise in the Antarctica. Just before we went into lockdown, I was actually giving a talk in Antarctica, and this is actually a photo from the waters. It's kind of cool. And this is me on the actual cruise ship working, because you know what else would you do in Antarctica? So my name is Debbie O'Brien. I'm a head developer advocate at bit.dev. You might already know me from Nuxt. I used to be a developer advocate at Nuxt. And I'm a Google developer expert, a GitHub star, a Microsoft most valuable professional, and a media developer expert for Cloudinary. And this slide is really important because I'm going to show you how I got to where I am today, where this slide is, and you're going to see like my journey all the way through. And it's going to be a rocky ride, so hold on tight. It's kind of be like the waters of the Antarctic. So yeah, I started web design in 1996, back in the day when this was as good as it got. Web design was pretty boring. Amazon looked like this, right? This was as good as you got when you finished that course. That was the kind of job you were going to get. So it wasn't really interesting. So I decided, you know, don't want to work. I'm just going to go to Mallorca and basically be an entertainer on a stage, and that's what I did. I just had fun. So that was my my life. And in the winter, I just traveled Australia, or I worked in a ski resort, and I had the most perfect life ever. But then you fall in love, right? And then you're like, oh my God, I've fallen in love. Now I need to do something. And you know, you go back and you kind of do, you go back to studying, right? And you say, right, I'm going to study. Everything has changed, so I'm going to study PHP, HTML, CSS, Photoshop, because like, you know, we need to do all these things. So I'm back to kind of studying. And then I just went knocking on doors, and I was like, everyone, I need a job, you know. And, you know, I live in Mallorca. I don't know if you know where Mallorca is, but it's a small island in Spain. So there's not a lot of tech going on here. There is a bit now, but there wasn't at the time. So everything is restaurants and hotels and tourism. So I would just knock on restaurants' doors and say, you need a website or a poster. I ended up doing so many posters and things I didn't really want to do, but it was the only way I could get to build that website. And I built them all in Flash because Flash was cool, right? Flash was the thing to be. So yeah, not that kind of Flash, this kind of Flash. I don't know if you remember this kind of Flash, but yeah, this was it. This was cool. And of course, I built all these websites for all these bars and restaurants, telling them that Flash was the best technology out there. And what happens? Along comes the iPhone, and Steve Jobs says Flash is not going to make it onto the iPhone. So yeah, all those companies who trusted me, I was like, oh my God, seriously, Steve Jobs, what have you done to me? So yeah, then I decided, okay, I'm going to have to start building PHP websites with HTML and literally just like tables everywhere. This website is actually still online today, and it's still used. It's terrible, but it's great. I will never refactor it because it's that bad. And it's all just built in tables and what is that called? Fireworks or something like that, to create all the like the menus and stuff. So yeah, this is what I did. And I just kind of like tried to get, you know, small companies and build websites for them. And I even built my own CMS in PHP, which was really bad, but it was good. But yeah, then someone said, oh, I want Facebook integration. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. So along came WordPress, and I was like, WordPress, I could do this. So I learned how to build WordPress websites, and I basically just, you know, WordPress is pretty simple, right? I mean, that's how Word used to look like when I first started using it. And I basically just, you know, WordPress was just everywhere, like literally everywhere. And that's what I did. I built for the Taekwondo website, for the restaurant, for the steakhouse, for everything. And that was how I was making money. So it's like, yeah, it's good. Did the job. So then I got my first real proper front end role after all those years of knocking on doors on those bars and restaurants and fishmongers. And yeah, like this is quite interesting, right? Because what is your job as a front end role? So my job was basically to take this beautiful woman and make her more beautiful. I know it's terrible, right? But like literally they needed to sell that bikini and they weren't going to sell it with that other picture. So my job was Photoshop and curve her out. And it probably looks terrible, right? Because it probably is. But that's what I had to do. And then just create landing pages and things like that. So it was really, 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 yeah, not good at all. So that company ran out of money because, you know, obviously making women skinnier and stuff, you know, it's just, yeah, it's never going to go anywhere. They ran out of money and I was out of a job. So I was like, okay, great. What do I do now? No money. So yeah, I decided to be an English teacher because, you know, I live in Mallorca and I speak English and they're Spanish, so I can teach them English. So I qualified as an English teacher and started trying to make my money by you know, working as an English teacher and try to get back into web design as if I could, but I needed money, I needed to pay the bills. So then I worked for Food Hits. So this was a great project. This was really cool. This was, I was convinced this is it. I'm going to like make my millions on this project. And we needed a restaurant review guide. And it was really good, like, you know, gluten-free restaurants. And like, we literally, like this was, it was an incredible website. It was incredible the work we did. We went to Ireland and we launched it with a massive campaign at a big food, Food Hits, a big food, what do you call it? Taste of Dublin, it was called. And literally like, yeah, everyone loved it. Everyone was saying, this is what we need. This is exactly what we need. This is incredible. And we were like, yes, like, you know, we've made it to the big time. A week later, after coming back from Ireland, my boss in the background there, Mr. Jan Marks, says, we've run out of money. I was like, what? We just launched. He's like, yeah, I know. You can continue working, but I can't pay you. I was like, seriously? So there I was, out of a job again. So I went back to teaching. I got a different type of teaching role and I was teaching English through drama and through science and through cooking. And it was kind of fun and it was great. And the kids were fantastic, brilliant time. But like, it's not what I want to do. I don't want to be a dinosaur and a chicken all my life. So then I got a job in Propio. So Propio, this was it. I was going to seriously make my money here. This was like an Airbnb, but for selling and renting of properties. This is fantastic. And we built this amazing site. It was fantastic. We got shares in the company and everything. This was it. Hitting the big time. And they ran out of money. I was like, seriously? Is it just me? Do I just close companies down or what? Like, seriously. Yeah, no, like not fun. So that left me back teaching English again, back to being a chicken. And so that was my life. So, you know, I went for job interviews and they kind of went, do you have React, Vue, Angular, Webpack, Jest, Cypress? And I'm like, I've got HTML and CSS. Yeah, next. Okay, so I'm going to study JavaScript. So I studied on School of Technology with O'Reilly School of Technology, and yeah, I mean they've closed. That's how great the school was, right? I didn't learn. I didn't do it. I couldn't finish the program. So I basically said, you know what? I'm actually not clever enough to be a programmer. I'm just going to design menus and billboards and be an English teacher because that's what I'm good at, and I'll just do that instead. And, you know, Chris Kyer gave a really, really great talk about a year and a half ago of the new front end. I mean, look at what the front end developer has to do now compared to what it had to do, like, say, 10 years ago, like pulling off the design on an infinite unknown canvas, thinking systematically about a design system, making sure everything is accessible, worrying about performance, testing across browsers, testing across different devices, and just like sweating the UX. And there was a whole other side there, right? So the front end role had changed a lot, and I was just not ready for this new front end role. So I just decided, you know, I'm just going to be an English teacher because that's what I'm good at. I can't be a programmer. I'm not able to. I'm just going to be an English teacher. Tech, it's just not for me. So I just gave up and said, you know what, I'm just going to concentrate on, you know, having a family, do what I do when you get old and you're married and you just go, let's have some kids. So that was it. Going to start a family. But it didn't really work out because sometimes you want something and you try and it just doesn't happen. And you know what? After like, yeah, this is basically me. I was constantly climbing up a roof, and I actually went through 8 infertility treatments. So 4 years of nonstop hospital treatments to try and start a family. And basically every time the doctors are like, yeah, this is it, this is it, this is it. And I would climb up that ladder going, yes, I'm going to have a family. I'd have a crap job, but it's okay because I'm going to have a family. And literally I would just like, yeah, it's like someone pulling the ladder from under you. And you basically get to a stage where you're like, yeah, you're just a complete failure, right? So you failed at everything now at this stage. And literally that was me. I considered myself a complete failure. I mean, yes, you might say, oh my God, like infertility is not a failure. But in your mind, after 8 infertilities that didn't work, that's 8 failures. My mind was like, that's it. I am a failure. I'm a complete failure. Success is that way, failure is that way. And I'm just like, you know, out of here. So yeah, that was my life. It was great. It was not good. Along came a guardian angel, and I think at this stage, like I'd given up on everything. I had a crap job, and you know, I can't have children, and I'm like, literally, what is my life worth right now? It's like worth nothing. I'm just here. I don't exist. I don't even have a purpose anymore. And Sylvia Ennis, she's my guardian angel. She's actually a friend of mine, and she said, Debbie, I'm studying to be a dream builder, and I want to help you because you're just so sad, and like you need you need help. So I want you to come onto this course, and I won't charge you because I know you've got no money. So come to the course, and I'm going to help you, get your dreams. And I'm like, yeah, this is a load of rubbish. Like, doctors couldn't make my dreams come true. You're going to make my dreams come true. Seriously. And she says, what is your dream? Right. And you might say, okay, yeah, my dream is to have children. Okay. But no, what is your actual real dream? If you were to look back and think time or money is not in the way, what is your dream? And this is what I wrote down. This is actually seriously, this is my photograph of the book that I wrote it in. My dream is to be a front-end programmer in a really cool tech company working with a really good team so I can continue to learn and grow. Does it make me feel alive? Yes, because I love programming. But I live in Mallorca, a small island, it's not going to happen. I'm not good at what I do. Like, my dream is to work for Google, and Google isn't in Mallorca, so I can't work for Google. I can't do what I want to do. I love my husband. I'm married, so I'm not going to move. Yeah, so you're not going to make my dreams come true. So this load of crap, this course. So what's the point? That was it. But she said, take your Google and define it and see if you can find it here on this island. And, Trivago is actually on this island. Now, this is a photograph of their Dusseldorf offices, but they have a really cool office in Mallorca as well. And I went, okay, so yeah, this company, this could be it. This could be my Google. It doesn't have to be Google. It just is the concept, right? So I was like, okay, maybe I could work for them. All right. So they, Fanatic Learning and Life at Trivago. So they have this cool things, and they're always, pushing continuous improvement. And I'm like, yeah, I like the way this company works. Okay, maybe she's right. Maybe I can do this. So, I applied 21st of March, 2017. This is my email. And it's me. Hi, I'm Debbie. I love what I do. I could spend 10 hours working on CSS and Sass, because I look at it. And it would feel like 10 minutes. I love coding and seeing results. I like fixing problems and love challenges. I love learning new things. I want to be the best I possibly can at what I do. And to do that, I need to work with the best so that I can continuously improve and grow and learn. I want to be part of a team, a good team, and I want to write code day in, day out, but not weekends. I was quite, I was sick of working weekends at this stage. And I want to get paid for it, right? I want to get paid. That's my dream. I mean, it's not a massive dream, really. Think about it. That's just the most simplest thing that you could want. That's all I wanted. Just give me a job. Come on. So they gave me a challenge to do. Build a booking engine in React. Cool, right? Yeah. I didn't even know JavaScript. How am I meant to build a booking engine in React? Now I'm going to my Dream Builder coach going, what have you done to me? Seriously, what am I going to do? I can't do this. I don't know JavaScript. She's like, Debbie, this is amazing. What do you need to learn JavaScript? And I'm like, I can't learn JavaScript. I failed so many times. I can't program. I can't do this. So I found an online tech degree, Open Classrooms, and they had a one-to-one mentoring session. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. And I had a call with them, and it was like, you pay monthly and you get one-to-one mentor plus the chat, and you have someone who's looking over your code. You've got someone who's telling you and talking you through things and helping you and kind of telling you can do it and pushing you towards that goal. And so I signed up straight away. And I said to my husband, I'm not going to be a teacher anymore. I'm going to be a student, and I'm going to learn to code, and I'm going to give it my full on. So I left my job. My husband's like, Debbie, you can't leave a job. You don't have a job. And I'm like, yeah, but I will have a job. Just, I'm just going to use all our savings, all the money that we have in our account. I know. I'll pay it back one day. It'll be all worth it. Just trust me. I need to do this. So yeah, I gave up my job, and I basically just studied, seriously, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, nonstop. I even studied when I went to the gym. My husband said, get out of the house, Debbie, you need to go and do something. So I would go to the gym and I would go running while I was actually doing the courses. Seriously, I was just obsessed. I was like, I have to make this work. This is my only chance of getting a good life. And if I don't give it everything, then at the end of the year, when I run out of all that money, I'm going to be back to being a bloody chicken as teaching English. And I just I can't do that. I need this to work. This has to work. So yeah, 6 weeks later, I built that booking engine. I mean, look at it. Isn't that amazing? I mean, okay, it was really rubbish, but I was proud of it because I built it from nothing, from no JavaScript experience. I was able to build this, but obviously it wasn't amazing. So I handed it in, and I kind of said to them, I said, look, this is actually the truth. I didn't know JavaScript before I built this, and this is all the courses I've done and all the books I've read to be able to do this. And I know it's not perfect, but this is what I've done. And they sent me back an email, 10th of May, 2017. Good morning, Debbie. Again, thanks a lot for your effort. I can see how much you're willing to learn and grow, but I can see potential. Great. I'm in with a really great chance here. This is actually looking really good. My Dream Builder, good job. And, they gave me another challenge, it was like, okay, it was a Chrome extension. I think I had to do a README and something else. Oh, so make some dynamic data. 24th of May, 2017. Good morning, Debbie. By the way, I should say you're one of the most motivated candidates I've seen. I'm like, oh my God, yes, I am so in there. Like, come on. Who else are you going to find other than me? So yeah, I'm in. This is my job. I'm now convinced this is for me. And then they gave me a WordPress challenge. And I'm like, what? I'm not doing WordPress again. I'm getting out of WordPress to get into programming, and you want me to put me back in the WordPress? No, I don't want that. And then, the results came in and it said, Dear Debbie, 12th of June, 2017, Dear Debbie, unfortunately, you have not made it to the next step. Please understand that we cannot give you any detailed feedback on your case study results. It did not work out this time. We wish you all the best for your future job search. Thank you and goodbye. After all that, there was like 9 weeks of full-time work, put effort in to create this test just to get a job. And then you just get this email. Yeah, I just cried, like literally just cried. That was like me gone. I was like, where am I going to go from here? Like, I'm a failure. I'm an absolute, complete, utter failure yet again. So Open Classrooms called me and they said, Debbie, can you give us your testimonial? And I was like, my testimonial? Like, you want what? Like, seriously, my testimonial? You want me to just tell everyone I'm a failure? Trivago didn't hire me? That's what you want? And they said, no. Trivago said no to you and you've continued to study. You haven't given up. You haven't walked away. Do you know how many people walk away from those kind of things? And you have kept at it and you have continued to study. That's what we want. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I have. And, I was like, what do you want? I'll write something down, whatever. And they said, well, we want to pay for you to go to Paris for a weekend and we want to make a video. And I was like, oh yeah, send me to Paris. You should have told me that before. So yeah, this was me in 2017. And yeah, we made this video of me basically telling myself more than anything, but telling people not to give up. And this was on the floor of the kitchen, which is really interesting. Life is short, focus on what matters and let go of what doesn't. I was like, oh, make it happen. Look at the words at the bottom, make it happen. I was like, oh my God, I need to make this happen. And that's the video, yeah, that they created. It's had like more than 100,000 views. It's actually on the homepage of Open Classrooms and everything. So it's quite incredible to look back on. Sometimes I look back on it and go, wow, it's incredible. Then of course, I'm still studying and then I have my worst interview ever. Now imagine going for your interview, walking in and they give you like a whiteboard and there's like 3 people in front of you and they put a laptop in front of you and they're watching everything on that, sorry, not on the whiteboard, on a TV, everything on the TV they're watching and you've got a code in front of them. My hand shook. I couldn't use the mouse. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't remember anything. I was like, I couldn't do anything. I just froze. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. So they said, can you go up on the whiteboard and actually just like destructure an array? And like, I've been a teacher, so it's no problem. But I just said no. It was like my feet were super glued to the floor. I was like, no way, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. They gave me a piece of paper and a pen and I did it on the paper and pen, but I was like, stop looking at me. Stop. Oh my God. It was the most horriblest experience ever. And I decided after that, I would never, ever, ever be in that same experience again. So I was studying at Treehouse as well, and they had a peer review program. So this is kind of like something you could do with open source, right? You can review other people's code. You dive into code bases. And I basically reviewed one person's code every single day until I was the student with the most peer reviews ever. And I got my 100 badge. And it just meant I was constantly diving into other people's code. And at least it just gave me that confidence of like, yeah, show me anything. I've seen it all now. So yeah, highly recommend that. And then I got my first real job. And this is a massive company. It's a massive travel company. It's an online travel agency in Mallorca, but it's really, really big. Like that building is like by 2 and there's like, oh my God, so many people, so many computers. And I was like going, wow. I walked out of there and I called my husband and I went, I think I got a job. I think I actually got a job. And I was like, oh my God, I've made it. I'm a front-end developer. And it was really, really, really cool. And Open Classrooms came along. They said we're going to make Debbie part 2. And I was like, seriously? And they came over to Mallorca to film me in my job. And I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, now everyone's going to know that I actually don't know what I'm doing. And there's like video cameras coming around, following me around. And I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, imposter syndrome. What is imposter syndrome? It's like you have the assumption of what I know, and what I think others know. So I know this amount and others, they know all this. And really it's kind of like more balanced because something, someone else knows something. you know, it's not really the same. But I was absolutely terrified every single day that I went to work. I was terrified I was going to be sacked. I was terrified they were going to find out that I didn't know what I thought they thought I knew, or they, you know, my perception was just totally different. So Treehouse actually contacted me and they offered me work. And like literally they asked me to come and be like a Slack moderator. And I got off the call with them and I said to my husband, I went, things are really bad in America. Like they are so desperate for people, they want to hire me. And my husband's like, Debbie, maybe you're actually really good at what you do. And I'm like, no, I am no, like they're so desperate. They have to hire me because they can't find anyone else to do this job. And my husband's like, oh my God, Debbie. And that's exactly how I felt. Like, seriously, that is how I felt. And like Vue School contacted me later on, a couple of months later, to work and create courses on Vue. And I was like, they can't find anyone else. Like, seriously, seriously, seriously. And I did take that job. I went, I'm going to take this because if I don't do this, you just never know, right? But oh my God, I doubt myself so much. I wanted to be a speaker. And I went up to Denise. She was at a conference and she did this talk on banishing your inner critic. And I just went up to her afterwards and I went, oh my God, your talk just meant so much to me. I want to be a speaker, but I'm just so afraid because I can stand up in a class and teach in English to everyone, all the Spanish people, because my English is better than them, right? So I can teach that. I'm confident, but I can't teach tech to tech people. They're all better than me. How can I be a speaker at a tech conference? And my friend Dennis, who was a speaker at that conference, he said, just go out there and tell stories. You're not teaching, you're actually telling stories. And if we don't tell stories, then, you know, other people don't learn things. So go out and tell stories. And I love this slide. It doesn't need to be perfect from day one. You can accomplish whatever you want. So it's like, okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, I can do this. So yeah, I became a speaker. And this was my first talk. And this was me with some very good friends of mine on the stage in Lithuania after giving the talk. And it was absolutely incredible. I had the best time ever. But the imposter syndrome just came back. It just always comes back. And on January the 15th, 2019, after, you know, 2 months after giving the talk, I called or texted, tweeted to my friend Jeff, and I went, hey, I'm looking for ideas to submit a conference talk. I'm kind of also scared. I don't know enough. But then I watch some conferences and I think, oh, I kind of know all that. And Jeff says, haven't we been through this already? You kicked ass in Vilnius. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe we have. Okay, thanks. Yeah. Because sometimes you just need that person to push you forward, to remind you that you actually can do it. And I just forget, right? So if someone can say, just, you've done this, you can do this. You just like, okay, you just need that little push. So it's really important to have those really amazing people around you. The voice never goes away, right? And you just need to write that in. I will not obey the voices in my head. The voice never goes away. It never gets better. You just learn to control it a little bit more. Dreams do come true. You really, really should write down your dreams. Like, seriously, like, take it out. And this is what I used to write down. I want to have a great job in programming, working for a great company where you continuously grow and progress and learn new things, where you work with a great team of people. Oh my God, I have that right now. I work for the most amazing company. I work with the most amazing people. Everything that I wrote down actually came true. Like, I didn't just write it down once. I wrote it down every single day. I imagined it. I kind of like created it in my head. That's what you need to do. Seriously. Everything is possible. And I mean, absolutely everything. And you are awesome. Everyone out there, you are all awesome. Just remember that you can do whatever you put your mind to. You just have to work hard for it. Nobody said it would be easy, but it is possible. Remember, as my friend Heather says, know that you are good enough, because you are good enough. Seriously, you are good enough. We're all good enough. I didn't think I was good enough. And look at all I've achieved. You are good enough. We're all good enough. And when you're faced with a door, like seriously, like literally a door appeared to me literally a month ago, and you know, a new job prospect, and I was like, oh my God, like this is so scary. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to walk through that door. I don't even know what's there. Like I don't want to open it. Oh my God, because I'm comfortable with here and what I've got. But what if you just open that door? What if you looked inside and in through that door, if you just take that step, like literally you kind of like go, no, you close that door and you go, no, it's too scary because it's so good. It's probably so good because it's too scary because it's not comfortable. Remember that if you could actually open that door and walk through, you might actually climb to the top of your mountain. You might actually just achieve your goals and be ready for stardom. Just take that step, walk through that door, and just don't be afraid of the scary things, because they will be scary, but that's good. Scary means you're growing and learning. Seriously, as my friend Jeff says, hey, you can do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Debbie. This was amazing talk. Well, thank you very much for sharing your experience and your struggles, growth, and success finally. And I would like to ask, given that all of us are working on similar path or went through similar experiences, and now that you achieved your goals, so what makes you to move on? What makes you motivated now?
You know, I don't know. I guess sometimes as well, I'm still trying to convince myself that I'm good enough. So I don't actually feel like I've reached my goals, right? I'm still trying to persuade myself that I'm actually still good enough. And I think that's the hardest thing. There's always mountains to climb. And one thing I love about tech is that you're never at the top. You're never the best. You're never going to be the best. And you can accept that and actually just go, you know what? I want to be a better me. So like when I went for my job interview, this year and just like a month ago, and they said, what are your goals for this year? And I went, I want to be a better me. Like I've achieved a lot, but I want to be better and I need to be better. And I think that's should be enough as well. But yeah, I think always just trying to be better. That's just me, competitive me against me.
So Megan also wanted to know what was the key to staying motivated through the rejection. So not, again, motivation, but in another position.
I think when you struggle in life so much that like literally when I was going to those jobs, I didn't have enough money to go and buy a Coca-Cola in a bar, for example. So when other people were going on a break to sit in a bar and drink a Coke, I didn't have that money. I couldn't do that. And when you're like struggling to survive and having to work, people are going to like, weddings or christenings and you don't have the money. You've got to work on Sundays just to be able to, just buy food and pay the bills and stuff. You just don't ever want to go back there. So you kind of say, I need to make this work. I want an actual good life. I want to be able to go and do sport at the weekend and just do what normal people do and go on holidays and have fun and not struggle and worry about money. I just wanted a better life for myself.
Okay, so thank you. So Jonathan is asking you, how do you think that we can change the hiring process so we don't put people off if they fail in the first hire? It's again connected to that motivation. So
Yeah, it's really horrible. I mean, I don't think like the experience with Trivago was terrible because of the emails back and they weren't helpful. Now actually it's very funny because literally like they've changed a lot, and I've seen on LinkedIn literally 3 months ago, 2 months ago, that someone got a really nice email back saying this is where you went wrong and this is how you can improve things. I think if companies take a little bit of time and just say, maybe if you had done this better, like you did really, really well, but you just were missing this, work on that and things will be different next time. I think if someone does that to you, it's very, very, very helpful. But companies don't have time. So you kind of just learn like rejection is just, you're just going to get no. I just kind of like, I tell people, go and get no's, go and get 20 no's and you'll get one yes. But go out there thinking you're going to get 20 no's because you probably are. And that's okay. It's okay to get a no because from that no, you'll learn what you are not prepared for. So like, for example, promises came up. I didn't know promises. I needed to learn promises. So, use it as a learning experience and not as a failure. It's not a failure. And no is not a failure. It just means that's not the right one for you or not the right time for you.
exactly. So sometimes we know exactly where did we fail, but sometimes it's just not clear for us. And it often happened to me as well. And I would really appreciate the feedback that just to know where should I improve myself. So
Yeah.
this is often missing. So it makes us really feeling as a failure. So another question. So imposter syndrome, it's kicking up often. I think all of us experience this. So how did you manage to get over your fears? What is your tactic? What are your tactics?
So if you were to come into my house, you would think I'm crazy, right? So in my house, when you walk in the door, I've got like take my shoes off. So I've got like all these shoes, right? And I have my keys here. And all in that hall, in that entrance, got all these signs up that say, believe in yourself, you're amazing, you can do this. Think amazing thoughts. And literally like luckily my husband allows me to do this, but I've literally just decorated my whole entrance as a kind of a good vibes area where you can go to and just read and just kind of like say, okay, I've got this, I've got this. And another thing I also did was because like I like to have people tell me that I'm good, because if they tell me I'm good, I'll believe it. But people, we don't do it, right? We do it to children. The child draws a little picture and you like say, oh my God, that's the most amazing elephant I've seen. And they're like, that's not an elephant, it's a house. And you're like, oh, it's an amazing house, right? And that child walks away thinking that they've just drawn this amazing house and it's terrible. But, you know, they get a little bit of feedback and they get this. And whereas we need that. And as adults, we don't tell each other that we're amazing. We don't tell each other that we're doing a great job. So I told my husband that he needs to tell me that I'm amazing every day. And he started doing it. He's like, Debbie, you're amazing. I was like, yes, I've got this today. I've got this today. And then he forgot because he's human and he just like forgot. And I was like, you're not saying it anymore. So I programmed Alexa. And every morning I say, Alexa, good morning. She tells me the weather so I can know which clothes to put on before I go running. And then she says, Debbie, you are amazing. And I start my day every morning going, yes, thank you, Alexa.
Okay, great.
Crazy.
We have a few more minutes, I think 3 minutes more. And I have one more question for you.
Go ahead.
And that is Natalia's. She said that I love that you did peer reviews. What else did you do to keep refreshing your knowledge?
Non-stop. I mean, like peer reviews is great. I started contributing to open source as well, which kind of like throws you into the deep end of like helping with other codes and, you know, doing pull requests and kind of figuring out how other teams work. And I was just constantly reading like Twitter. I love Twitter. I live on Twitter. I think I'd like sleep on Twitter practically. There's a lot of great information shared on Twitter. And if you follow the right people, you can actually learn a hell of a lot. People are sharing really, really great content. So I don't really read blog posts, but if someone shares a blog post on Twitter that might interest me, I'll click on it and read it. So yeah, I would say like be involved in the community as much as possible as well. That used to be easier, you know, when you could like go to local meetups, but now we have online meetups, which actually makes it easier. It's just a little bit harder sometimes to connect with people, right? But yeah, go and listen to talks and like, you know, write things down and then just like go and take those away and study it. And I don't know, I think you have to love it as well. You have, if you're going to work in tech, you really just have to love what you do.
Thank you. I think it's a great advice. I think that we are going to go for a break now. Thank you very much, Debbie.
Okay.
It's going to be 5 minutes break. And we are going to continue with the panel at 8 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.